In Illinois, we have a law called VESSA, and that stands for the Victims Economic Security and Safety Act. This law protects victims of domestic violence or abuse, as well as stalking, from losing their jobs, essentially. So it would allow them to take off time for work, to seek medical attention, to get legal assistance. Maybe the victim has to get an order of protection and they need to leave work. The employer cannot terminate them for that. Also included is counseling. If a victim is seeking counseling related to that trauma, then the employer cannot terminate them for being out of work during that time. The victims of sexual violence are able to take 12 weeks of unpaid leave. So again, this mirrors the FMLA, but really in situations of stalking and domestic abuse and violence. The interesting thing is that the larger employers in Illinois with 50 or more employees have to make reasonable accommodations so that the employee feels safe at work. So that could be things like having someone escort them from their car into the building or something like that. I think it's really important from an employer perspective to mitigate your risk as an employer when a situation such as stalking has come up. Because the real question that the victim employee will ask is my employer doing enough? Are they protecting me? Especially if, let's say, the stalker is at the workplace or even a partner comes to the workplace to bother the victim. What is the employer doing to protect that victim? The employer can't do nothing in those situations. Have to come up with reasonable accommodations so that the employee feels safe.
This is one of these laws that is so difficult because the underlying issue is so awful. And unfortunately, especially during COVID, there was an increase of reported cases of domestic violence. VESSA is there to help ensure that these people going through horrific things at home aren't further harmed and burdened by a loss of a job. VESSA also will protect someone who is helping a loved one or a family member who is suffering from this, that needs time to, go to court, speak to the police, take time off to handle the trauma that they've suffered. This is not a federal law. This is strictly an Illinois state law, but it offers a lot of protection and is one of these laws that probably a lot of people don't know about. It's not something that you hear a lot about, but is intended to target a specific group of people and ensure that they are protected. Now, this is protection for them to keep their job. Retaliation for availing themselves of VESSA leave would also be illegal because the company is now also committing an illegal retaliatory act. So there are punishments and protections if such an event were to occur. This is probably one of those laws that I feel
Hopefully
like
you never have to avail yourself of the rights under the law.
and probably every cop and fireman should know about, because more often than not, that's the first person who a victim might see. And it's those times that understanding these civil laws really ensures that a person has all the rights that they're afforded, especially for laws that people don't always know about.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to note taking time off to help someone else. We've handled cases where there have been minors subjected to sexual abuse, and the parent needed to take off of work to take that child to counseling, to get the order of protection, to be interviewed by the police, etc. Those cases are really sensitive for us because of the implications that they have throughout our society, really here in Illinois. Domestic violence really has no single demographic. It happens across the board. And so a law like VESSA is there to protect and make sure that during a person's most vulnerable time, they're not further burdened by their job